And we're going to get started with week 6, Superfast Superfood. We are going to be using mainly superfood ingredients to create a number of dishes from breakfast to lunch to snacks. And let's see, we're going to do some Mexican style beans in lettuce wraps. We're going to do some American style pancakes, but gluten-free and really healthy. And then I'm going to teach you how to make Müsli, a quick chia seed pudding that can be a dessert or a snack, and some Kale Crisps, which I know Mirella absolutely loves.
Yeah, you know it.
So you're going to need the air fryer for the Kale Crisps.
It's already out.
It's already out. Fantastic. So let's start with the beans, okay? We're going to get the tin of beans on the go. So cooked black beans and onions. First, we're going to get the onions in this pan. So you want to get this saucepan hot. And we're going to quickly chop onions and throw them in there. Yeah, that sort of size. So grab a red onion. I like red onions for Mexican food. It just seems to work really well. So while the pan's heating up, I'm going to chop my onion. So how big is the size of your beans?
400 grams.
400. And yours, Michael? How much?
425.
Okay, great. Yeah, that's a good size. You're gonna have to drain it, so you're gonna have to open it and drain it after we got the onions sweating. You want to get those onions on ASAP. So we're slicing them ninja style into dice. 1 medium to large onion for 1 can. You can do more onion if you like, but it takes longer and you're going to get enough flavor from the 1 onion. There we go. Right, avocado oil in the pan. There we go. Salt in the pan. In the meantime, we're going to open our can. And mine's got a lovely lift. And then we're going to drain the liquid. You can keep the liquid. It's meant to be very nutritious. I haven't found a good use for it yet. So in Mexico, some people make a soup out of it because it's full of protein and flavor, but you also have to watch what it says in the ingredients because it might also have preservatives. Look what spoon I'm using, Michael.
Nice.
Ian, have you seen the spoon?
I can't read it. I'm on my phone. So what's it say?
It says, "What would Jesus stew?"
Ah.
Hi, darling. Did you eat all the green beans? Wow, here you go. It stinks in here, all right. Don't have to eat what I'm eating. I love you too. But...
You're cooking with Jesus then, are you?
Well, I think we're always all cooking with Jesus. He gave us all this food, but yeah, the spoon is cute. Well, I don't know if you ever cottoned on, but during the noughties, the late 90s noughties, there was these bracelets going around. What would Jesus do? It was amongst the Christian community, and it was WWJD, and it was an acronym for what would Jesus do. And so that's why this is a joke.
I see.
It was basically to help Christians think, well, you know, if I in this situation, what would Jesus do? And you wore the bracelet just as a trigger.
I see.
Right, so we're sweating those onions till they go soft. In the meantime, open your can, drain it. In the meantime, mince your garlic. So I like a lot of garlic in this dish. So I'm going to put maybe 2 or 3 cloves minced.
The onions go in the pan, the frying pan?
The onions go into the pan with some avocado oil. And the pan should be nice and hot now. Yeah, I hear some sizzling.
Mine's sweating away.
Great. And then give it a good stir with your, what would Jesus stew spoon?
I don't have one.
To be honest, I've never seen one before. My former mother-in-law gave it to me. As a jibe, I guess, but a cute one.
Gregory, is she not a believer then?
No.
Okay.
Whenever I said I'm going to church, would you like to come with me? Because it was her local church. She was like, no, but would you tell will you ask the vicar if he appreciates the money I gave for the new roof of the church or something like that? It's the same line every time. Like I did my part. I donated to the new roof. All I was saying is come with me. Anyway.
Oh well.
Right. Once the onions got a little bit of color, but they don't have to be completely soft, then you can add your garlic, your minced garlic. So that's what I've done. So I'm gonna move you over to here so you can see on this camera. This is a fun camera. Bong, bong, bong. Does it work? No, because I have to reverse it.
How much garlic?
2 to 3 cloves for this amount.
See.
There we go. Okay. And then once you've sweated the garlic just for a few seconds, nicely minced, I'm going to add my beans. And then you stir that all up. At this stage, you want to add your spices. So the spices we're going to be using are cumin, salt, pepper. If you like it spicy, chili. And this is where the lion's mane is going to come in. So lion's mane is a type of mushroom. It's really popular in China for some reason. I think a lot of it's grown there probably. But what it's meant to do is meant to massively improve your concentration. Gives you sort of mental clarity. Hey, where's my cumin? Oh, it's gone walkies. Great. There it is. That must be it. No, it's not it either. Oh, man. Cumin. Got it. So cumin is one of these great Mexican spices. I heard the other day is really good for any sort of digestive issues.
So about how much are we putting in?
How much cumin? About a teaspoon.
About a teaspoon.
Level teaspoon. And then a bit more salt. And then we're adding it at this stage so it toasts a little bit and gets a bit more aromatic. Then I'm going to put about a teaspoon of lion's mane in.
So just so we're going through a teaspoon of cumin, teaspoon of lion's mane.
And about half a teaspoon of salt so far.
Salt, okay. No chilies?
Yeah. If you like chilies, add chilies. Absolutely. Chilies, cayenne pepper. It would be amazing if you have some cayenne pepper.
Well, I do. The trouble is I've got much more than I should have of spices, herbs and spices at the moment because we're combining 2 people's cupboards. So it's a bit.
So yeah, you want excuses to use them. Great. So yeah, put in as much chili as you can handle.
Yeah.
If I don't have lion's mane, is there something I should use instead?
So no, the idea was to incorporate lion's mane because it's got those health benefits. So you can buy it online. It's great. It's a mushroom powder. It's great in like with rice. It's great in a pasta. It's really flavorsome. I personally, I love it. Some people have it in their coffee in the morning. That for me doesn't work.
No, I've seen people peddling that online, and I must admit, I'm not tempted.
Yeah, you know, don't ruin the taste of coffee with, you know, yes, it's a good healthy product, but I mean, I don't know, it doesn't make sense to me. Just have it in your breakfast. So I've had it for breakfast. Like when I make scrambled eggs, I'll mix it in scrambled eggs. That's delicious. Mushroom and eggs, great combo. Coffee and mushroom, not a good combo.
I can't imagine it, personally. All right, just trying to find the cayenne.
Right, and then did you get some Guinness, Michael?
No, I did not.
Do you have any beer?
I do have like a light beer, but
Well, I've got a really strong beer, but it's got a bit more malt. The idea is to get that all dark stouts have got quite a lot of iron, and by adding it now, you're going to be adding extra iron, and you're cooking off all the alcohol. So most of the bad stuff goes.
The bad good stuff.
The bad good stuff. Yeah, I mean, however whatever your relationship is with alcohol, I think we can all agree it's calorific. And so, but it adds a really nice flavor to these beans. So I'm using this is a microbrewery beer. This is optional. So this you don't need to add, Michael. If you don't want to, you don't need to. You could just add some tomatoes.
so if I have a light beer, does that do any good?
You mean like a Coors Light or something?
Yes, yes.
I don't know. I don't know if it has much nutritional benefit. I mean, it's carbs. If you need the calories, then go for it. Yeah.
Right. So how much beer am I putting in the beans?
Just enough to just underneath the surface of the beans. Yeah. So you can get non-alcoholic Guinness these days as well, but in this case, it doesn't really matter if it's alcoholic or non-alcoholic because we're cooking off the alcohol.
Well, there's a non-alcoholic beer.
No, non-alcoholic Guinness tastes remarkably good. If you haven't tried it, they non-alcoholic Guinness 0.01 or whatever. It's really good. So, if you're not adding beer, then add tinned tomatoes or passata if you have that, and if you don't have that, then add stock, vegetable stock, or chicken stock. Chicken broth, bone broth would be really good. Oh, on that note, I've got some that I've been giving my dog, but I'm going to take some.
Right. Okay. The beer.
So not tomatoes, but like tomato paste. Is that what you're saying?
No, canned tomatoes is what I'm saying. But if you have tomato paste, that and a little bit of stock will do.
Mm.
And it should be getting really nice and creamy. This is what mine looks like here. You can see. It won't take long to cook, but we want to cook that out for a bit.
Right.
So, Michael, have you got some canned tomatoes? It wasn't on the list, but...
Yeah, I got a little bit. I'll put a little bit in.
Awesome. Right. That's looking good.
Okay. Right, next we are going to get on with the Kale Crisps. So I'm going to turn that heat right down on the beans so that they cook through. Just going to taste them, see where they're at. Yeah, no, they're good. Real good. So cumin we still have from one of the earlier weeks. Chili powder. The lion's mane is working really well. So kale. do you have already pre-chopped kale, or do you have kale on the on?
Mine's pre-chopped.
Michael, what have you got?
I couldn't find any kale.
Okay. What did you get instead?
Well, I got shredded cabbage and I got lettuce.
Like what kind of cabbage? Show me, because it might work with that as well. Last time you used the squash and that worked remarkably well. So you're the king. You're the king of improv these days. So yours is already cut, Ian. Well, I'm just going to trim off the stems. You can't really do that if it's pre-chopped. A lot of the kale in the UK is pre-chopped. I find it doesn't last as long when it's pre-chopped. And also you can't do this as well. You don't get as big crisp. You get sort of smaller or more irregular crisp. But there's not much you can do really in some supermarkets. That's all they have.
Yeah.
Sometimes in winter you can get like a whole branch of kale. I think Brussels sprouts could probably work quite well. What did Michael get? Let's see. I mean, there should be loads of kale. Oh, but no one probably eats it.
It's just cabbage, shredded cabbage.
It's shredded, is it?
Yeah.
No, you would need a whole cabbage because we're looking for big leaves like this, see?
Okay, I have lettuce.
Yeah, that's not going to work because what we're trying to do is we're trying to do kale crisps. Kale is highly nutritious, really high in fiber, and by air frying them, or rather dehydrating them, they go really crispy. You can do it with potato skins if you want. You can have a go. So if you got some potatoes, you could peel some potato skins and do the same thing we're going to do. Sweet potato skins, even better.
Oh, wow. I might have to try that.
So Ian, we're going to put our kale in a bowl and toss it in oil. Avocado oil again. Switch on the air fryer.
What temperature do you want the air fryer?
Good question. Does yours have a dehydrate function?
It does.
Great. Pump it up to the highest dehydrate setting. For me, it's 80 degrees.
It just says dehydrate, and then it says 60, but I can change the temperature.
Yeah, if you can change the 60 to 80, it'll be better.
Up to 90 even.
Yeah, let's try that. Because basically, normal air fry is too harsh. It burns it really quickly. Whereas dehydrate works perfectly, even for a short amount of time. So what I'm doing is I'm massaging it with the oil. Then I spread it out onto my trays. I've got, I'm using my tray air fryer. If you're using the Ninja, you're probably worth using the whole Megazone and spread them out.
Yeah.
And we don't season it before. We season it after because as it dehydrates, the flavor really concentrates and it can become too salty, I found. So I always season it when it comes out.
Okay. So it was in a bowl, massage some avocado oil through it, yeah?
Exactly.
Got that. Let's go for it.
And it should only take about 20 to 30 minutes, depending on the temperature. So I'm going to start with 15 and see where it's at after 15. Here we go. The stalks, you can keep the stalks and roast them like we roast the broccoli in the air fryer as well. So that works nicely. Right, my beans are done. I'm actually going to switch them off. Wow, that was fast. Okay, what's next? Michael, are you feeding anyone?
No.
Okay. So the pancakes, you kind of want to eat them straight away. They're okay cold, actually. I've had them cold quite a few times. They've been delicious. But so I don't know if you want to do them last or if you're just going to eat them as we go.
I can eat them as we go.
Yeah, that's what I'm going to do.
I was going to mix mine and then have them for dessert with the tribe.
So they cook very quickly. So you could just make the batter and then cook them, come back and cook them because they are that much better when they're just puffy because they puff up and then they go flat very quickly.
Yeah. Okay. Right. So I've covered my kale in oil. So you reckon dehydrate for how long?
Dehydrate it at 80 or 90 for about 15 to 30 minutes. Michael, how many peelings have you got? Are they clean potatoes?
Yep, I got 2 sweet potatoes, so I got 1 peeled here.
Nice. Great. Okay, so you want to mix that with a little bit of oil.
Okay, right.
A little bit of avocado oil?
Yes, avocado oil, because we're cooking at high temperature. Yes, sweetheart. What would you like, my darling? Ooh, yeah, music to my ears. She wants to do some arts and crafts. Be really careful. These are sharp scissors, yeah. So, yeah, for the pancakes, I'm going to move my pot of beans. I'm going to get a frying pan on.
Just the oil and throw them in the air fryer?
Just oil and then spread them out evenly on the air fryer. Michael, you're going to be going at, I would say about 200 Fahrenheit. So quite high because you want them to sort of fry in there. And you're going to be going for about 10 minutes. Okay, so you're going to need a blender for the banana pancakes. We need 1 cup of oats. So you can use any type of oats. Rolled oats often have gluten in them, so we're going to use 1 full cup of oats.
So is this going into a blender, did you say? Or is
Correct. The whole oats into a blender, and you're going to blend them up till they're like a powder.
So you need to put it time, right?
Okay. First you have to blend the oats to make oat flour, as it's called.
And was that half a cup or a full cup?
No, 1 full cup.
1 full cup.
Now, traditionally, you'd use, all-purpose flour, but we are replacing things. Then we're going to add 1 teaspoon of baking powder. To the oats once you've blended them. So you blend the oats first, then you add 1 teaspoon of baking powder.
Blend them dry, nothing in there?
But blend them dry, correct. And if your blender's too big, you might need to do 2 cups. So to my 1 cup of blended oats, I've added 1 teaspoon of baking powder, 2 pinches of salt. Are you still with me?
Will be.
What was that?
I will be with you.
Okay. Did you get flax seeds?
There we go.
Yes.
So it's a teaspoon of baking powder, right?
Sorry?
Teaspoon of baking powder, yeah?
Yeah.
Powder. Right.
No, you don't blend the baking powder though. Yeah. Oh, that's Michael blending. Sorry.
Baking powder done, and you said a little bit of salt, yeah?
A little bit of salt, and then half a teaspoon of cinnamon.
I like cinnamon.
Cinnamon, banana, great combo.
Yeah.
This is a great recipe. If you, what I tend to do with my bananas, you know, these, I just bought them today, but sometimes you keep them for a long time. You don't get around to eating them. They go a bit brown. You kind of force yourself to eat them, but they're really sweet and a bit mushy, right?
Oh,
so
yeah.
If that happens, peel them and put them, just the flesh into a Ziploc bag and freeze it. Yeah. And then any given Sunday when you want to make pancakes, you pull out the frozen banana and you use it for this recipe.
Aha, I like that.
And so it gives it an intense sweetness that, and you don't have to worry about the texture of the banana that's not so pleasant.
1 teaspoon of baking powder.
Yeah.
A pinch of and a pinch of cinnamon.
No, half a teaspoon of cinnamon and a pinch of salt. And then a whole banana.
Whole banana.
So stir that up a little bit. So make sure the baking powder is well incorporated, but it's going to get incorporated anyway. If you have flax seeds, I'm going to add a tablespoon of flax seeds. Flax seeds are going to add more fiber, more protein, more omega-3.
Tablespoon, you said?
Yeah.
Yeah, I've always got flax seeds.
How much flaxseed?
1 tablespoon.
They go in my post-workout smoothies.
Yeah. And then half a teaspoon of vanilla extract goes in there as well. Whoops. Or teaspoon in my case.
Oops. My banana is a bit too fresh, but never mind.
Yeah, same here. So it's not going to be as sweet, but you can always sweeten it with maple syrup after it comes out.
Yeah. And vanilla extract, you say?
Yeah.
Okay. Madagascar vanilla extract.
Oh. My almond milk's turned. That's weird. Very rare, but it's turned. So
Is this also be in the blender or taken out of the blender?
yeah, so you can now once you've blended the oats, everything can go in on top. But you want to just shake the oats and the baking powder first. The baking powder needs to be well incorporated, ideally. Then you add your banana, you add your vanilla, and then you add your milk of choice. So I recommended almond milk. So it's about half a cup of milk. Okay. And then you blend.
A whole banana?
A whole banana.
And then how much?
What was that?
How much milk?
About a half a cup. It kind of depends how big your banana is. I know it's a bit personal, but right. And then you should end up with a really, really tasty batter. I mean, you can eat this batter.
Swing batter.
Oh, it's so good.
And we can blend it?
Yep. You added the vanilla, you added flax seeds, you added cinnamon.
Yep.
Okay, good.
Done.
Right, get your frying pan hot. I've been getting mine hot.
So I'm going to save mine and do it later.
Correct.
Okay.
So we want to be using coconut oil here, ideally, because it's a nice sweet oil.
Mm-hmm.
And it works well at high temperature. Right, and then in goes my batter. It's quite thick, but then that's going to hold the shape really nicely, and you just do it rounds. Is it quite thick, Michael? If you need to add more milk, you can.
Oh, yeah, it's pretty thick. Put more milk in.
A little bit. You want it quite thick. Did you see my consistency?
What's
That's
that? Yeah, that's about what it is.
okay. Good. Then don't add more milk. You'll get better shape. Okay, we gotta keep moving, guys, because I've got a hard stop in half an hour. Let's.
If we don't have coconut oil, what do we use instead?
Avocado oil.
Okay.
We kind of use that for everything. And then they go brown quite quickly, as you can see. So once I got them in at high heat, I turn the heat down so they cook more slowly. And as soon as you are able to flip them, you flip them. Right, next we're gonna make a real quick salsa for our lettuce wraps. Check your beans, guys. They might, I've switched mine off so that they don't burn.
So have I.
They should be nice and creamy. Michael, how are yours doing?
Mine are good.
Yeah.
My beans are done.
Great. So we're gonna make a real quick salsa. So I put cherry tomatoes because they're tastier, but actually large tomatoes are easier. But I got cherry tomatoes. So
did I.
neat little trick is to use a serrated knife. I'll show you. And to either put a plate or bowl over them and slice through in half like this. So I'm just going sideways on and I'm sawing through them using the plate to hold them. And that way you get all the nice halves in one fell swoop. They're so tasty. Michael, what kind of tomatoes did you get?
Cherry tomatoes.
Okay. Well, that's a bit fiddlier. Sorry, guys. But
So we want.
At this time of year, it is tastier. We're just coming into tomato season soon. So then we want to cut them into quarters.
How many?
I don't know. Depends how many people you're feeding. I would say about a half a cup per person.
Okay. Quartered. Okay, I am quartering.
Right. Pancakes are done. So I'm going to leave the rest of my pancakes till later because, again, I'm not going to be able to eat them straight away. So that's the pancakes done. Nice stack of pancakes. They should come out this color, a little bit browner because of the natural sugars in the banana caramelizing. Be right back.
Sure.
Might need an onion as well, just a raw red onion. I need to get that. Hi, darling. How's it going, fellas? So,
Boring tomatoes, steadily.
boring.
Quartering.
Quartering. Okay. So I've got about a cup of tomatoes here, and so I've got a small onion. I'm gonna dice that real finely. So we're making a very quick salsa pico de gallo. I don't think I put cilantro on the list, but if you happen to have some, then you can chop that up and add that.
Sorry, I finished all mine.
Michael, have you started cooking your pancakes or not?
Yep, the first two are about done, I think.
Oh, great.
They were really, really thick, but you said that's how they're supposed to be.
Well, no, like a normal American pancake, like that kind of thickness. As in when they hit the pan.
Yeah, a little thicker than that. I should probably water down the rest.
Yeah.
I was just going by your visual.
Well, this is how they've ended up. So.
Okay. Yeah, they're a little thick then. It'll be good.
If you can get them to cook through at that thickness, they'll be nicer.
We cutting up this whole onion to mix in with the tomatoes.
I'm only using a small onion. So
It's kind of, yeah, smaller to medium onion.
I would just maybe use half.
Okay.
We're dicing it real fine.
There's just half an onion.
Well, if it's a medium to large onion, yeah, I've got a very small one, so I'm going to do a whole one.
Yeah, and I'm feeding 3 people there, so maybe a whole one.
Yeah, you want to do the whole one then if you're feeding 3.
I have about 3/4 cup of tomatoes, so.
Yeah. You want about half the amount of onion to tomato.
Half onion to tomato. Yeah, I'm cutting a whole pack of cherries.
Okay. Right, I'll be right back. What did you say?
Put it in the bowl.
Yeah, put it in the bowl. And if you have cilantro, I'm just about to get my cilantro. I forgot again.
Okay. Let's get this in.
Yeah. You can come here. I'll fill it up for you. It's hot. But mind you, don't spill it. Right. So do you happen to have some cilantro or not? Or parsley?
I got parsley.
Yeah, parsley will do. It's just to give it a bit of clear green, but parsley is actually even healthier than cilantro. Again, really good for digestion, for antibacterial.
Doesn't taste like coriander though.
No, it doesn't. But it works well with tomatoes. It's not very Mexican either. Right, and then in terms of seasoning, I like to add a touch of olive oil. Again, not very Mexican, but that olive oil is a great oil. I add a bit of cider vinegar. You can add lime juice, and then you add salt. You can add chili again if you like it spicy. And that's pretty much it. That's our salsa done. Super tasty. Oh, love it.
Right.
You should have that sort of raw, nice raw onion sharpness. Make sure you add enough salt. And then we were going to make, you can either make a guacamole or salsa, or just diced avocado.
I'm gonna make a guacamole. Shall I save some of this onion?
No, the guacamole, strictly speaking, doesn't have onion in it.
Ah, it usually does when I make it, but never mind.
Yeah. It's literally just smashed avocado, salt, and lime juice, and cilantro, typically. And then in Mexico, they sometimes put diced tomato, but we've already got the tomato in the salsa. Doesn't make much sense to me.
Okay.
So yeah, you can. I always squeeze a little bit of lime juice over it. I sometimes cheat and add Tabasco as well, instead of chili. But it's not meant to be spicy. It's meant to be quite mild, and typically it's made in a pestle and mortar, or mortar and pestle, however you like to call it. And there we go. That's my salsa. So our first dish of the day are the lettuce wraps with the beans. So you can start building those. And so this is a great anytime meal. You know, the salsa, as you saw, is quite quick to make. Only the beans take a while, but they'll keep in the fridge a couple of days, 4 or 5 days, maybe even a week. So always worth having a can of beans in the dry store. Black beans. Lidl always have like a Spanish week. They currently have one on. They always sell these black beans, so I always buy some.
Sorry, so it was some olive oil, cider vinegar, salt, and a bit of lime. Wanted to a little bit of chili.
Which one are you talking about?
For the salsa.
Cider vinegar, olive oil, salt, and if you like a little bit of chili, yes, and cilantro or parsley.
And was there a little bit of a lime juice in there, or was that for the avocado?
That's more for the avocado.
Okay, got it. Thank you.
Oh. Michael, how are you doing?
I'm done with the salsa. Pancakes are done. Sweet potatoes are done. Beans are done. I got lettuce ready now.
The sweet potatoes are crispy, are they?
Yes.
Great. So my 15 minutes was up, but it's not enough. So I'm going another 15 minutes at 80. I don't know if you've checked yours, Ian.
Oh, they're starting to, they feel crisp.
They feel crisp. Okay, that's great.
Yeah.
I would take them a little bit further because actually sometimes.
Yeah, they need a little bit more.
Yeah. So Michael, you just want to dust some smoky paprika, some salt on your potato crisps, and they're ready to eat.
Okay.
And then for the beans, guys, this is what I'm doing. I'm putting a tablespoon of beans on each leaf. And then I'm going to put some salsa and some guacamole on top. And that's the dish. I mean, you can either serve it all separately and have your guests build them. You can, you know, if you got any leftover meat, you could throw some meat on there as well, a bit of protein. But this is the idea. You could even serve as like a summer canapé. Quite hearty, but.
Sorry, so for the guacamole, there's an avocado in there. There's some lime juice in there.
Salt and ideally some coriander.
I did, yeah, okay. That I haven't got. I've got some.
Yeah, I didn't put it on the list, so that's my bad.
Okay. Oh.
What are we doing with the avocado? Sorry, I missed that part.
You're cutting it in half. We've got 5 minutes left, guys. We have to, no, we've got 15 minutes left. Sorry. We still have to move fast. We still have a whole other dish to do. You're smashing the avocado in a bowl with some salt and lime juice, and that's it. You can use a fork, you can use a potato masher. I'm only using half an avocado, but that's enough. And then you build your wraps like that, and they are so tasty. Oh. Beans are real superfood, high in fiber, really good protein, highly nutritious. Avocado is a superfood, so you're getting a lot of nutrients in one bang here, and that's kind of the idea. It's meant to be a very quick dish, you know. Unless you're doing it for 100 people, it's quite quick. If you are doing it for 100 people, I would use a food processor and just throw the tomatoes in there.
Boom, boom, boom.
Right, we got to go on to the muesli, guys. Muesli, you're not going to be able to eat straight away. It's going to need to sit for a few hours. You ready?
I'm still doing my guacamole, but I can finish that later.
Michael, are you ready?
Same thing, but I can follow what you're doing.
Okay. Have you got ground hazelnuts, Michael?
I couldn't find hazelnuts. I just got the walnuts.
Okay. Walnuts are actually even more beneficial in terms of superfood properties. Really high in omega-3. And it's really good for regulating your mood in the morning, apparently, and weight. Right, so for the oats, the muesli, I'm going to take 1 cup per person that's eating. I'm making 2 cups, basically, because that way I've got enough for the whole week. And you want to fill a container about halfway with the oats.
A container. So we just need a container. That's it, right?
Yeah, it can be a bowl.
Yeah.
So I'm using whole oats, jumbo oats, because they're going to have more of a bite. So not oatmeal oats. We call them jumbo oats here in the UK. I think in America they're called whole oats. What does it say on yours, Michael?
Old-fashioned oats, 100% whole grain.
Okay, yeah, that might do. Yeah, you got the same ones, Ian. This is a big Irish brand we get here in the UK, but yours look good, Michael. It should look something like this, of whole oats, and we are going to soak those in ideally some kind of juice. If you got apple juice, like a really good quality apple juice, or orange juice, or just water. So I'm going to use really good quality filtered water that I've got here. My Kangen water. And you want to cover the oats till they're just covered.
So I'm not using Guinness for this then?
Nope.
Even though they're Irish oats.
Yeah, that's true. Even though they're Irish oats, I'm sure there's a recipe. The Scottish have savory. They add salt to their oats, don't they?
Well, my father used to do that.
Yes,
but
yeah.
I find that weird, personally.
Let's see. Oh, that's so cute.
So did you say orange juice is acceptable or not?
If it's pressed, not concentrate.
Okay, no, it's not. Well, I will just use water then.
Yeah, just use water, which is the healthy option. Then we need to add lemon juice or lime juice. Very important, because oats are really hard to digest when they're raw. And so unless you cook them, you need to add acid. And it needs to sit in that acid for a couple of hours so that acid starts to break down the compounds that are difficult to digest.
Okay, so what's the suggestion? Lemon, lime, or a mix?
No, ideally lemon. I haven't got any lemon, so I'm using limes.
Okay, so
Michael, what have you got?
So how many lemons do you, or?
Squeeze it in.
You can use what?
Squeeze in the lemon juice?
Yeah, squeeze in the lemon juice and orange juice. If you happen to have oranges, you can squeeze it, like you can with pulp and all. It's great to have like the whole juice and pulp of one orange. Would be amazing.
So 2 cups of oats. How much lemon?
The juice of 1 whole lemon.
1 whole lemon. Okay. Ah, very good. Boom.
Right, then a key ingredient are the chopped hazelnuts. So, how badly? Sweetheart. Yeah, I told you to be careful here. Clean it up. It happens, but I told you that. Oh, Sophia.
I'm really sorry.
Yeah, no, I told you to be careful. This is why you don't do arts and crafts while watching TV, okay? Because you can't concentrate. So please clean this all up.
I'm really
Yeah, no, the TV's going off, and you're going to tidy this all up, okay?
sorry, but I don't know how.
Well, I can't help you right now, sweetheart. You know how. You got the paper there. Just soak it up.
Hey, right. So lemon's in.
Lemon juice is in, okay? Then ground hazelnuts. We need to add 2 tablespoons of ground hazelnuts.
Or walnuts, you said?
Or ground, well, walnuts, you want to just crush them with your hand. You don't need to have them completely ground. The hazelnuts are kind of the basic recipe. The original recipe has hazelnuts because they are a really nice, sweet, mild taste. Again, they got good protein, and a little bit cheaper than walnuts, but walnuts are great.
So you just crush them, or?
Yeah, just crush them in your hand and throw them in. Then you need some honey. Sophia, please. No, you haven't cleaned anything. You need to just dab it like this. You need to soak it all up. Come and get more paper. You need to tidy this up now. Please use this paper. Okay, could have paused it. Right, I need to crack on. So honey, we're going to add about half a cup. No, quarter cup. Sorry, it's a lot. Half a cup. Half a cup. No, sorry, quarter cup. And then Greek yogurt. So this is not in the original recipe, but I'm using 0% fat Greek yogurt, which is really high in protein.
So was it just a random amount of hazelnuts, however much you think? Or
2 tablespoons, I said.
2? I'll put a bit more than that in mine.
That's all right.
So after the hazelnuts, it was honey and then yogurt, right?
Correct.
And it was quite a lot of honey, right?
Quarter cup of each, roughly. Quarter cup of yogurt, quarter cup of honey. You can probably go a half cup of yogurt, actually.
Okay.
So, you know, if you're in a rush, you can just soak the oats in juice or water and then let that be. And then in the morning, you could do the mixing. But I find it's quite nice to do this all the night before, and that way in the morning it's ready to go. But it just needs about 2 or 3 hours soaking. Now,
Mix it all up, right?
mix it all up, yeah. And now to supercharge it, this is where we would add some of the sort of magic powders like spirulina, maca root powder, baobab powder. I found bee pollen is a really nice sweetener. Yes, sweetheart. What did you say? I don't know. I put it in have you cleaned up? I'm going to put some acai berry powder. So acai berries are incredible, like for energy and antioxidants. So I'm just putting a teaspoon of each just to have those nutrients in there. Did you guys get any of those powders?
I did. I went to Amazon and bought a lot.
Oh, wow. Great. I should have sent you the links.
Well,
Next time.
Search, it's fine. Oh, God. Yeah, I could have given you your affiliate links. Come on. What am I looking for? Oh, yogurt.
So that the acai powder is making it go nice and pink. If I added spirulina, it would make it go nice and green. Spirulina is a type of seaweed that's really high in protein. And then taste it. You don't need too much of it in its raw state, but you're just tasting it for the balance of acidity and sweetness. And then,
yeah.
And then just before you serve it, you want to slice up some strawberries, put them on top. You want to put some blueberries in there. Those are all superfood berries. Ah, a key ingredient, sorry, an apple. You need to put a whole grated apple in there.
Whole grated apple. Okay.
Sophia, I can't help you right now. I'll be done in a minute. Not a minute, in 5 minutes. So we're grating it coarsely.
Ah.
So coarsely grated apple, the whole thing, seeds, skin. Make sure you wash it.
So what do the chia seeds go in?
The chia seeds are to make a separate pudding. I'll show you how.
Yeah.
Whole apple, huh?
Yeah.
Right. So maca, baobab, spirulina.
Don't cry. Sophia, please, my darling. Why are you crying? Why are you crying? You haven't even done any tidying up. But yeah, then take your tights off. That's fine. But you got the quicker you clean this up, the easier it'll be. Please.
But when I tidy up, I still won't be able to find the control.
I will help you find the control, but there's paint on the carpet. You need to clean that, my darling.
Oh my God. Sounds like someone's having too much fun.
Yeah. Well, no, someone was getting distracted. Right. So the whole apple goes in there and you mix that in, and that will really make it taste so much better because the apple will add fiber and sweetness.
I'm quite expecting the color of the spirulina.
Yeah, it's bright green. How much did you add?
A teaspoon.
That's right. Yeah.
But yeah, it doesn't look like Berkshire Muesli anymore.
And then I like to keep it in the fridge, and yeah, you can have it for dinner. You can have it for breakfast, snack. I love it. Right, chia seed is the last one. I'm just gonna get my kale crisps. They're done as well, so they shrunk loads.
And we're seasoning them with smoked paprika and salt. Is that right?
That's right.
Do you cover the oatmeal when you put it in the fridge?
Yeah, it needs to be. Well, you mean covered with what?
Like covered with just a plastic.
A lid. Yes. Yeah. You want to have it sealed somehow with aluminum foil. Sorry, not aluminum foil. Cling wrap or lid.
Yep. Okay.
What did you say, my darling? After what? I'll show you. Come. I'll show you quickly, sweetheart. You gotta just go on your knees and dab, like this. I will help you find the control later, but remember what our agreement. You have to bring these into the kitchen.
But where did you put it?
I will show it to you. I don't know. I need to look for it. Right. Where we at? Chia seed pudding.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm late. I've got 2 minutes. Okay. So chia seed pudding again is just a snack, or it can be a dessert. And you take. Did you get chia seeds? Not ground chia seeds. It's quite important.
I already have them. Let's check they're not ground though.
Michael, did you get some or not?
No, I couldn't find any of that.
Oh, they're not here.
Oh,
Can you get Amazon deliveries to where you are, Michael?
I can, just not that fast.
yeah, mine look like they're whole seeds.
Okay. Oh yeah.
All right.
So I'll send you some links, Michael. So for some of these superfoods, because they're really worth having. They last a long time, and you can have them delivered to your door. So it's not so much work to go out and buy the ingredients.
Remake the oatmeal, and so I'll rewatch this part of the video, and I'll do the oatmeal and this. And
Okay. But yeah, you're gonna redo the oatmeal on again because you like it.
make a bowl before planting season, and once a week I'll just make another bowl.
Yeah, great. So chia seeds, I'm gonna fill a tiny amount. They expand a lot. So I've got about 2 or 3 tablespoons in there.
Yeah.
And we're going to cover them with ideally almond milk.
Mm-hmm.
And you want double the amount of milk to chia seeds.
Okay.
Or maybe even triple. Sorry, yeah, they soak up a lot.
I'm just going to put in 2 of the.
And then you got to stir them. It's very important to stir because otherwise they all clump up at the bottom. We're going to add cinnamon again. So about a half a teaspoon of cinnamon goes in there.
Right, so more almond milk. This is good.
Then we're going to grab some dates. I love medjool dates.
There are no other dates.
Indeed. And the medjool dates, I'm just tearing them up with my hand. So they're going to be in big, so as small as I can get them, really, sort of crushing them.
Yeah.
And I've got 2 whole dates. And I'm just going to let that all soak for, again, a good hour. And that should turn into a thick pudding that you can eat with a spoon. And the dates should make it sweet enough. If you like it sweeter, you could add date syrup, you could add honey, you could add maple syrup. But generally speaking, the dates will add fiber, they'll add sweetness, and a ton of minerals. Dates are highly nutritious.
Yeah, we get through a lot of dates here.
Yeah, I often, when I get a sweet tooth, I'll just have 2 or 3 dates, and I find that sort of satiates the sweet tooth, and at least it's better than chocolate.
Yeah, I live with someone who, once she starts eating dates, she can't stop.
Yeah, I mean, they are calories, but
I have to, I give her a hard time, but it doesn't stop.
All right, gents, that concludes it.
Okay, so I'm just going to leave this to soak. I'm going to make my pancakes now, and we are going to, or rather, I'm going to make my lettuce wraps, and I'll make my pancakes later.
Yeah,
I'm going to
enjoy the lettuce wraps. That kind of savory. I mean, it's a mishmash of dishes.
Yeah,
you can eat them all together as a brunch. It would be quite a good brunch. Or if you make the muesli before, or you, as I said, you can have them at different times of day.
So for the chia, do we need it in the fridge or out of the fridge?
I tend to keep it in the fridge,
yeah.
Especially as the summer approaches.
Okay, I will leave it to grow in the fridge then. And it's already grown.
Michael, are you all good?
Yes, I am.
You're mixing the muesli?
That's already in the fridge. My batter for my pancakes need more milk, so I'm gonna do another batch of pancakes.
Okay, great.
So I heard something about chia seeds as well, which they're incredibly good for cleaning out your digestive system.
That's right, because they're incredibly high in fiber.
Yeah.
But they also they're unique in the way they go gelatinous.
Yes. And apparently they just soak up everything else in your gut and carry it through.
Correct. All right. Well, have a wonderful evening, and I've got a couple of recordings to post.
Yes.
You should be able to access them then in the app as well. Maybe not with our faces on it, but the same recipes. But it's been a pleasure, and
fine. So I hope you can get your carpet clean.
Yeah, I'm gonna have a go quickly. Thanks, guys. Well,
Yep. See you.